In this video, I am going to make a week's worth of dinners for my family of 6 using 2 rotisserie chickens. These meals are relatively easy, nutritious, and family friendly. If you need a little grocery budget reset or some easy meal ideas, this is a great place to start. So Monday is the most intense labor day. First thing, we started out by getting the groceries. First, we went to Costco just to get their rotisserie chicken. I have heard that Costco actually loses money on their rotisserie chickens, but they keep it low price just to pull people in the store. I don't know if this is actually true, but I did like the feeling of winning over Costco. Next store we went to was Aldi. There's some other ingredients needed, and I didn't want to buy it from Costco because then I would have had to take out a second mortgage. So I wasn't really interested in that. I have my 2 chickens. I have the groceries I needed. My total was $26. But I already had a bunch of this stuff on hand, so I don't know exactly what the total would be. But I would say this is definitely a budget-friendly week. So I'm gonna go ahead and shred up this rotisserie chicken and start doing some bone broth with that. What, Thomas? Spoon? So I do not recommend trying to put away groceries, feed your kids mac and cheese, and tear up the chicken all at the same time, which is exactly what I did, and I forgot to take my thumbnail picture in all of the hubbub. Here I am tearing apart this chicken carcass. I put the meat in one bowl, and then everything else, the bones, the skin, the broth that's already in the bag, and whatever chicken that looks like, I don't know if I want to eat this, it all goes into the pot. And while I clean up the big lunch mess, I'm going to tell you my tips for a good chicken broth. Mostly, I feel like you'll be able to figure this out on your own. I try not to add too much water. I basically cover all the bones and then add an inch or 2. So I think that just makes for more flavor. Also, I've found you get a better broth if you let it simmer on low for about 8 to 12 hours instead of on high for a shorter time. Health experts claim that longer time is also supposed to suck out more nutrients, collagen, whatever else is healthy from the bones. I don't know if this is true, but it sounds right. So I got all my bones simmering around 11 a.m. This step is optional, but it does make everything easier. My favorite way to shred chicken is using my KitchenAid. Gets it all nicely shredded up. And I had a good amount of chicken. And then I realized that I actually had in my fridge some old rotisserie chicken that was slightly more dry. So I shredded that up too and dumped it in the pan. I'm telling you, we do a lot of rotisserie chicken in this house. All right, so Monday's meal, I figured since we did so much work earlier, we could just keep it pretty simple. Basically, I'm just chopping up a bunch of veggies and potatoes, mixing them up with some olive oil and spices, and baking those. Well, that's good news, isn't it? And then I'm gonna do barbecue chicken sandwiches, which just means sauteing an onion, throwing in some barbecue sauce. Calling her good. I just serve the buns as like a roll with the kids. They can't really handle a whole sandwich yet. They seem pretty content with that. And overall, they love anything that is smothered in barbecue sauce. So this meal was definitely a hit with everybody. Today we are making chicken ramen bowls. Here are the things you need. Green onions, chicken broth we made from the day before, 4 packets of ramen, garlic, soy sauce, sesame seed oil, sesame seeds, red pepper flakes, canola oil. Just kidding, you don't need baby formula. I'm starting with the hardest part, which is getting eggs to a soft boil. This time I asked chat, it said, get the water boiling, add the eggs in for 6 minutes, and then promptly put in ice water, and I got the perfect egg. If you do not get your eggs perfect, it will still be good in the ramen bowl. It just doesn't give you that layer of satisfaction when you add the soy sauce in. Nonetheless, I start by getting the eggs done, get those to the side. Then this recipe is kind of a lot of moving pieces, but it's not that hard once you do it a few times. I still haven't decided which category it gets classified in. It's not like easy, but it probably could be a 30-minute meal if you get it going. Once you get the eggs done, I saute garlic with some sesame oil. Once the garlic starts to look a little brown, you take it off the heat, add a little canola oil, put it in a bowl. You're going to take this same pan, put it back on the heat, add some sesame seeds in there, push them around with a fork until they are nice and toasted. Put them in a little bowl. Then you're going to chop up your green onions. Put them in a bowl. Not that one. Take your chicken that you need. Heat that up in the microwave. It's already in a bowl. Yay! And then also, we are going to warm up that chicken broth from Monday. So I used 1 jar of the chicken broth, the chicken bone broth, and then I also threw in 1 packet of the ramen seasoning, plus a little water. I still categorize this as a healthy meal, even with 1 pack of ramen seasoning. So if you want to go healthier, definitely just use more bone broth. Once that's all good, the last thing we need to do is boil the noodles. So once you serve this, you put noodles in a bowl, egg, add a little soy sauce to the yolk, add the green onions, sesame seeds. You can do chili flakes. I think that's what they're called. Red pepper flakes as well for some heat. And then you absolutely need that garlic oil to give it that nice layer of fat on the top. Let me just say, this is such a good meal. The first time we made this, we went like very, very authentic, and we went to an Asian market and bought the noodles. And the noodles that you buy there don't taste any different than just ramen noodles. So our kids just like absolutely love this meal. They're just like, ramen for dinner? But this time they actually all devoured the eggs. I did not boil enough eggs. So note to self, next time, maybe do like 8 boiled eggs. And they are getting ramen, but they're also getting, you know, a little bit of health and sustenance. So this is definitely a family favorite meal. We are doing chicken enchiladas. So I got everything kind of prepped at lunch. So all I would have to do later was just to do the sauce and then throw it all together. Starting with making rice, I do 1 cup of rice with 2 cups of water. Throw in a packet of ramen seasoning, get it to a boil, and then turn it all the way low for 17 minutes. Now, while I get the rest of the enchiladas done, I have a question for you. Which thumbnail do you prefer? Let me know A, B, or C in the comments. I tried out a new chicken enchilada recipe this time just because I feel like mine have been kind of bland. This one is like a white chicken enchilada recipe. And it looked a lot better on Pinterest than it did in real life. On Pinterest, it looked like very like white, and this just kind of looks a little bit gray. For some reason, I couldn't quite get the sour cream to like mix in all the way. But yeah, another tip I saw online is to put the enchilada sauce on the bottom of the pan first to help them from sticking. And yeah, it doesn't like look super appetizing, but they tasted pretty good. Served it with salsa, and yeah, it was definitely good. I would definitely make that recipe again. So today is Thursday, and I kind of want to be doing some errands later today, so I'm gonna do the easier meal. I'm just gonna make this. It's only 10 o'clock, but I'm gonna make it and then I can just reheat it when we come home. So I'm not dealing with all the chaos all at the same time. I'm trying to film the cooking thing. This is a Greek chicken and rice casserole. My last video I made was all on Greek cooking and why it's just the best thing ever. And someone had left a comment about making this dish. Now I've made it like the actual way with chicken thighs and it tastes really good. I've never made it with pre-made shredded chicken, so we'll see how it turns out. This is one of those meals that's easy to just like make, cook, and you're done. It's a 1-pot casserole. Shout out to the Midwest. You kind of just mix together all the ingredients and then bake it, and then you're good to go. Oh yeah, look at that. That is some gelatinous broth, which will hopefully give it that nice fatty flavor. You know what?
What?
We're gonna add 1 more cup of rice.
Okay.
Which means so this tastes pretty good. It tastes pretty chickeny and kind of lemony.
But can I taste it?
What do you think it needs?
I think it needs
Some pepper?
yeah.
it's good. See right here, it's definitely gonna have a lot of fat, which I think is what makes this dish really good. So now, we're just gonna put these on. Do you wanna help me, Thomas? You gonna put some lemon on there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just put it right here.
What?
Just put it like that. So we're just kind of gonna throw these lemons on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's gonna be good.
You think so?
Yeah.
Foil, and I always use a hot pad because this stuff will burn. Oh, I might have, oh no, that turned out pretty good, I think. All right, we're giving it another 10 minutes. You know what? I don't know if I should do that. Should I give it another 10? All right, we are gonna go ahead, give it a little taste. It's not bad. Could use a little more lemon. That's okay. It turned out pretty good. I have to say the actual recipe that I'm gonna link uses chicken thighs, and it just gives it a little more fat and a little more flavor. But this is not a bad, you know, a little bit easier, a little bit more throw together option. So, but then when we ate it as a family, it was just a little bland, and I think that it's one of those recipes that you just gotta stick to all the actual ingredients. So I would not be making this again. If I make it again, I will just do the original recipe. I will link the recipe down below. I just wouldn't do this again with rotisserie chicken. It's a little too dry, and it just is missing. It's just missing that like punch of just fat chicken. Anyway, my kids ate it. It was fine. My husband had to eat it with hot sauce, which, you know, usually is kind of a sign it's not that great. And that brings us to Friday. So we are gonna do a soup today. This is one of my kids' favorite soups, mostly just because of that song, She'll Be Coming Around the Mountains. But it's a good hearty winter meal, and I am going to be using 2 jars of chicken broth. Basically, we just chop up the veggies, and it's all made in one pot. All right, so the celery is a little bit better, not perfect. And we've got the rest of our chicken broth, onions, carrots, peas. I don't know if I'm gonna use all the rest of the chicken. And our lovely Dutch oven. Thomas, come out of hiding and go tell your sister sorry. Now, once you have the soup kind of going, it's time to make the dumplings. So sometimes I use half butter, half Crisco. You can use half lard too, or you can do all butter. Anyways, so you mix the flour, baking soda, you shred the butter, crumble the Crisco, mix it all together. This recipe does call for buttermilk. I just did milk and vinegar. This recipe is from the cookbook Hope's Table. So then you have your soup simmering, and you just drop this dough into the soup. And so yeah, the final result doesn't just look like this crazy good meal, but it is. There's something about dumplings that are just really nice, and it's a lot easier than to actually make biscuits and roll them out and cook them and all of that. So yeah, like I said, my kids love this. It's a good family winter meal. It's just a good family meal in general. And that wraps up the week. So that was 5 recipes using rotisserie chicken. Let me know in the comments, what are your favorite recipes for using rotisserie chicken? Overall, I enjoyed most of these meals. I would remake most of them. And yeah, here we are, mid-April. I filmed this 2 months ago, and I'm finally done editing. So I'm trying to be a little more consistent on YouTube, but you know, I just don't know how these moms put out videos every week. I just don't know how they do it. I'll probably see you in about 6 months. So Christmas time. Thanks for watching.